My name is Josh. In today's practice, we are going to work with both strengthening, toning, and lengthening two different muscle groups, the abductors, the abductors, the muscles that take the legs away from midline, and the adductors, the adductors, the muscles that bring the legs in towards the body. And by the end of practice, what we'll learn how to do is to engage both the abductors and the adductors simultaneously to create a very stable pelvis. I hope you enjoy practice, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Today, we're going to focus on both engaging and lengthening both the abductor and adductor muscle group, the muscles that take the legs out to the side, away from the body, and those that hug in towards the midline. So begin by lying down on your back, setting your feet flat to the floor with your knees bent, and have your arms by your side. Take a couple breaths through your nose or your mouth in a way that feels supportive for you. Just comfortable breaths. They don't have to be the deepest breaths you've ever taken. Using these first breaths to get an overall sense of how it is that you're arriving, how it is that you're showing up physically, pranically, mentally. And as we move into the practice today, what we're going to do is, although isolating abduction and adduction as best as we can, it's also important that we don't neglect some of the other movement patterns that the thighs do in the hip joint, or the movement patterns that the hips do. And so we'll start with a little bit of everything, and then we'll hone in. So from here, with your feet flat, begin to create a little bit of arch, or a little bit of space between the lower back and the floor. You can think of this as the feeling of cow pose. As you do that, breathe in. And then on your breath out, flatten the lower back and feel as if your tailbone is pushing upward towards the ceiling. And the lower belly, the lower belly is contracting, drawing in and down. And then as you breathe in, extend or arch the lower back again. And as you exhale, flatten the lower back. And we'll repeat this a couple more times, working on the what's called lumbopelvic rhythm, the rhythm between the lower spine, the lumbar spine, and the pelvis. Extending the back on inhale, flattening on the exhale. And what you want to do here is really focus more on the fluidity of the movement over the range of movement, so that we're moving fluidly and rhythmic over range, over how arched the lower back is or how flat. Do one more. And then let your spine return back to more of a neutral position. From there, start with external rotation. So take your right ankle behind your left heel, open up your right knee to the right, and then walk your right foot a little bit towards the left side of the mat. So your right thigh is almost parallel to the sides of the mat, or perpendicular to the short edges of the mat. Repositioning the right foot a little bit left gives us a bit more straight rotation without some other movement patterns. Take another breath. And then take your right foot back down, and we'll do the same thing on the other side. Slide your left ankle behind your right heel. Open up your left knee to the left, and then walk your left foot to the right. So that again, when the knee moves downward, your left thigh is parallel to the sides of the mat. Take a couple breaths there, noticing how the left side feels versus the right. And then to internal rotation. So slide your left foot back down. This time walk your right foot to the right, off the mat, and then let your right knee swing in towards the ground. Internally rotating the right thigh in the hip joint, and take a couple breaths there. And walk your right foot back in. And then let your left knee swing in, internally rotating the left thigh in the hip joint. And so the thighs and the hip externally rotate, they internally rotate. Now let's look at flexion and extension. So walk your left foot in, keeping the arms by your side. Bring your right thigh towards the body, flexing the right hip joint, not using the hands to pull. Then extend your left leg out. So you're extending the left hip and flexing the right. A couple breaths. Here. Feel again these different ways in which the hips can move. Set your right foot down, pull your left knee in, and then extend your right leg out. Not using the hand to take the knee in, but using the hip flexors. And then lower your left foot down and pull your right foot in. Then we'll do the two movements that we're focusing on in class today. First, take the right leg out and then slide your right heel as far to the right as you can, keeping your foot perpendicular to the floor, the toes facing up. This is AB, abduction, shortening the muscles on the outside of the hip, lengthening the adductors, the muscles on the inside of the thigh, the hip joint. Okay, and then take your right heel towards the left side of the mat, still with the toes facing up. You might have to move the left foot out of the way a little. So this is AD, adducting the right thigh in the hip joint. And then pull your right foot back in. Take your left leg out. First abducting, so left heel slides to the left. Toes facing the ceiling. Shortening the outer hip. Opening the inner thigh. And then take your left foot towards the right side of the mat. AD, adducting the left thigh in the hip joint. Creating length on the outer hip, shortening the inner. Okay, and then pull your left foot back in. Now, bring both of your knees into your chest. Roll to either side or rock up into a seat. And then from there, we'll come into a tabletop pose. So what we just did is we explored the physical movement of the leg. Now let's look at some of the muscles that we have to use to engage the abductors and adductors. So from tabletop pose, extend your right leg back and up. Try to square the hips and breathe in. Then as you breathe out, bring your right knee outside of your right arm and pull into the arm, which engages the AD, the adductor. So the leg is squeezing into the arm. Take your right leg back and up and to tabletop pose. Then left leg back. And now left knee outside of the left arm, pulling into the arm, engaging the AD, adductors of the left hip. Take your left leg back. And then to tabletop pose. Right leg back again. This time, right knee inside of the right arm, pushing out into the arm, so the AB, abductors. Take your right leg back. Tabletop pose. Left leg back. Left knee inside of the left arm, pushing out into the arm for the AB, adductors of the left hip to engage. Left leg back and up. And then the tabletop pose. All right, take a full breath in. From there, tuck your toes under, lift your hips up, and move into downward facing dog for a few breaths. Doing whatever you need to do in the posture to make it feel a little more comfortable. Breathe in and out a few times. Soft, slower, and consistent breaths. Inhale one more time. And breathe out. The end of your breath, step to the front of your mat. Bring your feet together. As you inhale, lift halfway up. Fold forward as you breathe out. Inhale, mountain pose, arms up. And then exhale your arms by your side. So I want you to grab a block If you don't have a block, that's fine. You can do this without. But if you have a block, take a block on the medium width, place it between your thighs, just above the knees, so that we can really work the inner thighs, the AD, adductors, in these rounds of sun salutations. So you're squeezing the block. Feel like you're trying to not only squeeze the block, but push it backwards through the legs. And at the same time, take your tailbone downward. Then inhale your arms up overhead to mountain pose. Exhale, fold forward, hinge from your hips. As you inhale, lift halfway up, and then a couple steps or a few hops to plank pose with the block, and lower all the way down to the belly. Keep your toes tucked under. Inhale to cobra pose with the toes tucked. So still squeezing the block, engaging the adductors, the inner thighs. Toes tucked, knees up. Breathe in. And then lower your chin. Plank or tabletop push up. And down dog with the block still between the thighs. Take a few breaths in down dog. Breathe in one more time. Exhale completely. End of your breath, look forward a couple steps or a few hops to the front of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Squeeze the block. Inhale, arms up overhead. And exhale, your arms by your side. Same thing. Inhale, arms up overhead. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift. A couple steps or a few hops to plank pose with the block. Lower all the way down to the belly. You know, it's not the most graceful of moves with the block there. Inhale to cobra pose. Toes tucked, knees up. Squeeze. And then lower. Plank or tabletop, push up. And down dog as you breathe out. Take 3 breaths, and then we'll do that sequence one more time. Into your breath, look forward. A couple steps or a few hops forward. Inhale, lift halfway up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, mountain pose. Squeeze the block, arms up. And as you exhale, lower your arms by your side. Last time, reach up, inhale. Fold forward as you breathe out. Inhale, halfway lift. And again, make your way back. Couple steps, some hops, and lower all the way down to the belly. Inhale, cobra pose. Toes stay tucked like plank. Squeeze the block, knees up. And lower down. Plank or tabletop. And downward facing dog. Okay, reach up for the block and place it to the side. We'll come back to it a little bit later. And from downward facing dog, inhale your right leg to the ceiling. Take a big step through to a lunge on your breath out. Then lower your left knee down and come up to your fingertips. Take a deep breath in. As you exhale, rock your hips back onto your right heel. Try to keep your belly pinned to your right thigh. Bend your right knee again, inhale. And repeat that again. Exhale your hips back. Trying to stay glued to the right thigh. Bend and breathe in. Hips back on the breath out. One more time, bend and breathe in. And then hips back on the breath out. Hold there, call the fingertips a little bit further forward. Feel like the crown of the head is moving away from the hips. So you're lengthening not just the back of the body, but the sides and the front of the body as well. Take one more breath in. And then bend your right knee. Slide your hands to your hips and come up to a modified crescent lunge. Then keep your right hand onto your right hip. Reach your left arm up overhead. We have to be a little bit creative to to engage the outside of the hip without using bands or a strap or some other tools that we might not have at our disposal. So what we'll do is take the left hand, grab the outside of the right thigh, somewhere in the middle of the thigh, so not the knee and not all the way up by the hip or your pocket. Then I want you to pull your left hand into your right thigh and then push the thigh out into the hand. Try and engage the outside of the hip. Simultaneously turn your chest to the right. And if it feels okay to do so, you can reach the right arm back. If that feels like it's too much on the shoulder, keeping the hand to the hip is fine. But more importantly than that, thigh pushes out and the hand pulls in, trying to engage the outside of the hip. Take one more breath. Then return your shoulders to center, lift the arms up, and breathe in. And downward facing dog, hands down, step back. Now lift your left leg up. Step through to a lunge. Lower your right knee. Take a full breath in from the fingertips. And then exhale your hips back onto your left heel. Bend and breathe in. Hips back and breathe out. Bend and breathe in. Hips back and breathe out. Bend and breathe in one more time. As you take the hips back, pause there and crawl your fingertips even further forward. Little tuck of the chin, crown of the head forward. Again, feel like you're lengthening the front, the back, and the sides of the body. Belly stays glued to the left thigh. Really important so that you're maintaining flexion in your left hip joint. One more breath. All right, then bend your left knee, slide your hands to your hips and come up. Now reach just your right arm up. Like I said, we have to be a little bit creative in how we engage the outside of the hip. Take your right hand outside of your left thigh, pull into the leg, push into your hand, and then turn your chest to the left. If the shoulders turn, you want to reach the left arm back, you can. If you can, though, try to keep the arm in line with the collarbone. So if you're not fully turned, the left arm will be at a slight angle, or hand to the hip is fine. But you're pushing the thigh out and pulling in on the hand. So your attention, your awareness is staying in the left leg. That's what we're focusing on in this class. One more breath. Turn back to center. Inhale your arms up. And then downward facing dog. Take a deep breath in. Empty the lungs. And then at the end of your breath, look forward and step to the front of your mat. Bring your feet together. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale, fold. Inhale, mountain pose, Tadasana, arms up. And then exhale your arms by your side. So now, for the most part, for the remainder of the practice, we're going to try and engage both the inner thighs and the outer hips simultaneously. Takes a little bit more skill, a little bit more attention, a little bit more precision for sure. But there's some techniques that we'll use, starting in chair pose. So bend your knees, inhale to Utkatasana. Arms up. Try to squeeze the thighs as if there was a very narrow block between the knees. And then simultaneously attempt to pull the heels apart. So as the thighs squeeze and the heels pull apart, ideally it's engaging the inner legs and the outer hips. Hold that, take another breath in. Stand up as you exhale, lower your arms. Bend your knees, inhale to chair pose again. Thighs squeeze, heels pull, breathe in. And then fold forward as you breathe out. Inhale, halfway lift. And then plant your palms, step back to plank pose, and lower halfway down this time. Inhale, upward facing dog. And downward dog. Inhale your right leg up. Like we did earlier, exhale your right knee outside of your right arm, pulling into the arm. The adductors engaged. Inhale your right leg back. Now right knee inside of the right arm, pushing out into the arm. That's the AB, the abductors. Inhale your right leg back. Exhale, step through to a lunge. Start on your fingertips and breathe in. Then rock your hips back onto your right heel like we did before, except the left knee elevated. Hold, take one more breath in. Then bend your right knee. Inhale to crescent lunge this time. Arms up overhead, back knee off the floor. You feel like your right thigh is pushing out to the right, like your hand is pulling the thigh in. At the same time, attempt to drag your right heel left. So thigh pushing out, right heel dragging left to try and engage the inner thigh and the outer hip. The AB and the adductors. Keep that feeling. Inhale. Then right arm back, left arm forward and twist. Or slide your right hand to your hip. Still right thigh pushing out, right heel pulling in. From there, rest your right hand onto the back leg. Inhale your left arm up. Right thigh pushing out, right heel pulling in. Now, I want you to try and keep your right leg as still as possible, the thigh as still as possible, maintaining the ab and adductor engagement. Inhale, and then to warrior two. So as you lower the arm and drop your back heel, try to keep your right leg as still as possible. Thigh pushing out, heel pulling in. Pull the shoulders back over the hips. Bend into your front knee. Thigh out, heel in. Okay, maintain that feeling. Inhale, reverse warrior, right arm up. Thigh out, right heel pulls in. Take a deep breath in. And then exhale your hands down to plank pose. Lower halfway down. Upward dog inhale. And downward facing dog. Inhale, left leg up. Left knee outside of the left arm, pulling into the arm. Inhale, left leg back. Knee inside of the arm, pushing out into the arm. Inhale back. Exhale, step all the way through to a lunge. From your fingertips, breathe in. Rock your hips back onto your left heel as you breathe out, holding there. One more breath in. And then bend your left knee. Inhale, crescent lunge, arms up. So same thing on this side to engage the outer thigh and the inner thigh. Like your leg is pushing out, like your left heel is pulling in. Maintain that feeling and breathe in. Right arm forward, left arm back as you breathe out. And like I said, if it's too much on the left shoulder, hand to hip is fine. Focus more on the left thigh. Thigh pushing out, heel pulling in. Keep the turn, left hand to your back leg, right arm up. Then try to maintain your left thigh as still as possible and breathe in. Exhale to warrior two. So as you drop the back heel, keep the left leg quiet, reach out through the arms. Thigh out, heel in. Shoulders pull over the hips, drop into the legs. And inhale, reverse warrior. Left arm up. Right hand on your back leg. Thigh out, heel in. That's the mantra. Thigh out, heel in. One more breath in. Exhale, hands down to plank pose and lower halfway. Inhale, upward dog. Cobra pose is a good option. And downward facing dog. All right, take 3 or 4 breaths. And then what we'll do is we'll flow through that one time. One time to reinforce these patterns of movement. Another breath in. Breathe out. End your breath, look forward, step to the front of your mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Fold as you breathe out. Inhale, chair pose, bend your knees. And as you exhale, stand up, lower your arms. Inhale, chair pose, thigh squeeze, heels pull. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Then plant your palms, step back, lowering half or all the way down. Upward dog. And downward dog. Inhale, right leg up. Knee outside of the arm, pulling into the arm. Inhale, lift. Right knee inside, pushing out. Abductors. Inhale, right leg up. Exhale, step through. Take a full breath in. Then rock your hips back onto your right heel, toes flex. Stay and breathe in. Exhale, bend your right knee. Arms up, crescent lunge, inhale. As you exhale, twist to the right. Right arm low, left high, inhale. Exhale to warrior two, keeping your right leg quiet. Thigh pushing out, heel in. Inhale, reverse warrior, right arm up, one breath. Exhale, chaturanga or low plank. To upward dog, inhale. And downward dog. Inhale, left leg up. Left knee outside of the arm, pulling into the arm. Inhale, lift. Inside, pushing out. Inhale, lift. Exhale, big step through to a lunge. Stay here, inhale. Hips back on the breath out. Stay and breathe it. Bend your left knee. Inhale, crescent lunge, arms up. Exhale, twist to the left. Left hand low, right high, inhale. Exhale, warrior two, left leg stays still. Inhale, reverse warrior. Exhale, high to low plank. Or straight to down dog. Deep breath in. And hips back. Full breath in. And full breath out. Again, inhale. And breathe out completely. Lift your right leg up. And then step wide for runner's lunge. Step your right foot outside of your right hand. Lower your left knee down. And then come off of your hands onto your forearms to give the wrists a break. If you have a block, you can slide a block under the forearms or anything else, a bolster, some pillows to prop yourself up. And try to keep as much weight in the right foot as possible so it's not all falling to the left side. Be here for a couple breaths. Reconnect to your breath, slow everything down. Using this as an opportunity to pause, to reset. And then also just to give our wrists a break. Two more breaths. And one more breath. So what we're going to do next are actually two versions of side plank. One is a modified version with the knee down. The other is more of the standard form. The first one, abduction. The second one, we're going to work on adduction, adduction. Come up onto your palms. Then you're going to keep your left knee where it is. Extend your right leg towards the back of the mat. And then spin onto the inner edge of your right foot. So your toes are facing to the right. You can adjust the angle of your left shin so that you can balance a bit easier. Place your right hand to your right hip. And then lift your right leg up as high as you can. Try to keep your right heel higher than the pinky toe. Lift up as high as you can and hold to contract the muscles on the outside of the hip, abducting the right leg. Outer heel a little higher than the pinky toe. Take another breath. Then lower your right foot down. Now you're going to take your left foot in front of your right foot and then lift your left foot up off the floor. So you're adducting. If this is too much on the left wrist, you can lower your knee down, do the first form, what we did right before this. Otherwise, right arm up, left foot up. Take a deep breath. And then downward facing dog. Raise your hips. Take a few breaths in downward facing dog. Then lift your left leg up and step your left foot wide. Lower your right knee down and then come off of the wrists onto the forearms. And move into the other side. A couple breaths here. Same way, trying to keep as much weight in the left foot as you have in the right knee, or just so that the pose doesn't end up all the way on the right side. Settling into the breath, calming the breath if it feels slightly erratic or elevated. focusing on the breath out.
Yeah.
And you can go ahead and come up onto your palms, keeping your right knee down. Take your left foot to the back of the mat. Turn your left toes open to the left, surround the inner edge of the foot, adjust the angle of your right shin, and then with your left hand onto your left hip, raise your left leg up as high as you can. Trying to keep, again, the heel a little bit higher than the pinky toe. So we're isolating the action of AB, abduction of the thigh and the hip joint. A few more breaths. Okay, then lower your left foot. Take your right foot in front of the left. And then lift your right foot up for adduction, inside plank, left arm up. Foot moves up. You could always do the first form again. If it's too much on the wrist, and breathe it. And then downward facing dog. All right. So let's bring these same concepts again back into some familiar postures. Lift your right leg up again. Step all the way through to a lunge. Take your block, place it outside of your right foot, and come up into warrior two, but this time with your hands on your hips. Then from there, slide your right hand onto the block. Position the block so you can push your right thigh out into the right arm. At the same time, feel like your right heel is pulling to the left, so you're engaging the outer hip and the inner thigh. Then your left arm overhead with your palm facing down. For side angle pose, Parsva Konasana. Thigh pushing out, right heel pulling in. Engaging the outer hip and the inner thigh simultaneously. And take 2 more breaths. 1 more breath. From there, come up into warrior two again. Then straighten your right leg, slide your left hand to your hip, and come into triangle pose. You can use the block again or place the hand on the shin. Same feeling, the thigh pushing slightly out, the heel pulling slightly in, trying to engage the outer hip and the inner thigh. A few breaths in triangle pose. All right, then bring your left hand back onto your left hip, come all the way up. And now, just like we did in that first form of side plank with abduction, same feeling in half moon pose. So bend your right knee. You can use the block and slide it forward. Pick your left leg up and lift your left leg up as high as you can, but trying to the heel a little bit higher than the pinky toe. So you feel abduction of the left hip. As high as you can, focus on the left leg. Don't let the toes go higher than the heel. You don't want to lose the left leg into external rotation. Take 1 more breath. Okay, bend your right knee, take a big step back, come up into warrior two. And then from there, we'll do a little wide-legged fold. Straighten your front leg, turn your feet parallel to each other and breathe in. And then fold forward, hinge from the hips. And you can place the hands under the shoulders or grab the sides of the feet. Little bend to the knees, never a bad idea. One more breath. With your hands under the shoulders, lift halfway up. And then walk your hands forward in downward facing dog. Left side like the right. Inhale your left leg up. Step through to a lunge. Place the block outside of your left foot. Medium height to start. Come up into warrior two with your hands on your hips. And from there, left hand onto the block, position the block so you can press the thigh into the arm. Your left heel pulls right, and then reach your right arm overhead. Thigh out, heel pulls in. Right arm overhead. Parsva Konasana, with our attention, our focus on abduction and adduction occurring simultaneously to stabilize the thigh and the hip joint. Okay, then back up to warrior two. Right hand to your hip, straighten your left leg, reach forward, come into triangle pose. Same ideas. Thigh out, heel in. Chest, leg can reach up. Thigh out, left heel in. Okay, and then bend your left knee, back up into warrior two. From there, we'll take half moon. So with your right hand onto your right hip, bend your left knee, you can use the block and pick your right leg up as high as you can, engaging the outer hip, abducting the right thigh and the hip joint. Heel a little higher than the pinky toe. One more breath. And bend your left knee, take a big step back, up into warrior two again. And then this time, straighten your left leg, turn your feet parallel, interlace your hands behind the back. Feel like your palms are squeezing together, but the hands are also trying to pull apart to widen the collarbones, and fold this way. Hands both simultaneously squeeze and pull. Bend the knees as much as you need. And then release your hands down. Lift halfway up. And then downward facing dog. Come on. Downward facing dog. Almost 2 more little standing sequences. Lift your right leg up again. Step all the way through to a lunge. This time come up into warrior one with your hands on your hips. Widen your stance a little bit and we'll do humble warrior. Interlace the hands behind the back. Squeeze and pull. Wide collarbones, inhale. Then if it's possible, take the right shoulder inside of the right knee and squeeze the leg into the arm. If it's not possible, then just see if you can find a way to engage the inner thigh and the outer hip simultaneously. Hands moving away from the hip, but not necessarily overhead. We want more than anything is wide collarbones. Take 2 more breaths. And then slide your hands to your hips, come all the way up. Straighten your right leg, and we'll do a revolved triangle pose now. Left arm up, inhale. And as you exhale, we'll turn to the right. You can place the hand on top of, inside, or better yet, even outside of the foot, if that's possible too, and you do have a block. If you'd like to use a block, turning your chest to the right. Possibly reaching your right arm up. One more breath. And downward facing dog. Hands down, step back. And lift your left leg up. Step through to warrior one with your hands on your hips. Widen your stance a little bit. Lace your hands behind the back. Broaden the chest and breathe in. And then fold inside of the left thigh. If you can, taking the shoulder inside of the knee. Squeezing into the shoulder to engage the inner thigh. Left heel pulling right. One more breath. And slide your hands to your hips, come all the way up. Straighten your left leg, reach your right arm up. And then from there, twist to your left. Right hand comes either on top of, inside of, or outside of the front foot. If you can get the shoulders to stack, reach the left arm up. Otherwise, keeping the hand on the hip is fine. Two more breaths. Breathe in one more time. And then downward facing dog. Bend your left knee, step back. Breathe in deeply. And breathe out. All right, step to the front of your mat and bring your feet together. So you inhale, lift halfway up. And fold forward. Inhale, mountain pose, arms up overhead. And then as you exhale, lower your arms by your side. So the last standing little sequence here, slide your hands onto your hips. We're going to use abduction and adduction in contrast with each other to feel a little bit more deeper into eagle pose, actually. So with your hands on your hips, take your right leg as far out to the right as you can without your upper body leaning to the left or without your right hip hiking upward. And in fact, what could help is bumping the hips a little bit to the left. Your right foot, keep it parallel to the sides of the mat. Just out enough that you can feel the outside of the hip engage. Then reach your arms up overhead. Okay, bring your right knee in to eagle pose. Wrap your right leg over, squeeze the thighs, and then take your right arm under. And focus on squeezing, really squeezing the upper legs, adducting, adducting the upper thighs. Feeling that in contrast with the abduction that we did a moment ago. Squeezing the upper thighs. One more breath. And then stand back up, arms down, right foot down. Hands to your hips again. Take your left leg out to the left as much as you can without your upper body leaning to the right. Foot parallel to the sides of the mat. Hips bump a little right. Lift your arms up overhead. And then take your left knee up over the right. Bend the knees and take eagle pose on this side with your left arm wrapping under the right. Squeeze the thighs. So adducting, adducting the muscles that are on the inner leg. Squeezing, adducting, squeezing, sitting low. Okay. And then stand up and lower your arms down. Mountain pose, one last time. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift. And then step back, either a little plank or straight to down dog. Inhale, upward facing. And then hips up and back. Lower your knees down to the mat. Swing your legs around out in front of you. All right. So once you have your legs out in front of you, take your feet a little bit wider than the width of the mat. You want all 10 toes facing towards the ceiling. Bring your left hand outside of your left hip. Lift your right arm up. Breathe in, and as you exhale, turn and fold to your left leg, but try to use your left hand to keep your right sitting bone down. So using the left hand to push into the floor and keep the right sitting bone pinned to the floor. Take a couple breaths here. So this is a forward bend and a lateral bend and a little bit of a twist with a beat abduction of the thighs and the hip joint. Come back up. And then you're going to take your right hand outside of the right thigh, left arm up, turn, fold to your right leg with your right hand keeping your left sitting bone down. Right, and then come back up. Now taking both of your legs out in front of you, I want you to take your block and place it outside of the right foot, and then bring your left foot up and over onto the right foot. Lift your arms up, and then fold forward this way. So now we have the legs adducted, and we're forward bending. Try to keep all 10 toes facing more towards the ceiling. so that your legs stay neutral and not externally rotated, which they'll have the tendency to do. And then come back up and switch sides. Block outside of the left foot, lowest height, right leg up and over, reach the arms up, and fold this way. Paschimottanasana Uttanasana with adduction of the thighs. Okay, and then come back up, uncross the legs, grab your block, lower slowly down with the block in your hand, and then we'll take bridge pose with the support of the block. So lift your hips up as high as you can and place the block underneath the pelvis. My preference is always having the block oriented in the skinny direction so I can place my sacrum right on top of it. You might find it preferable to go at the medium width, which puts the block less on the sacrum and more on either shield of the pelvis, like either sitting bone, you could say, wing of the pelvis. I prefer going narrow where it's the block on the sacrum. And even when we're using the support of the block, the legs, you don't want them to be completely passive. Let the block do like 85% of the work. The legs still need to do like 15. A little pushing of the heels, a little squeezing of the inner thighs, maybe even a little bit of drawing a part of the feet like we were doing earlier. Okay, and then lift your hips up, slide the block out, and lower down. Right, and then lastly, draw your knees into your chest. Let your legs fall to the left, gaze to the right, twist here. And then come back to center. And then knees in and to the right. Twisting and gazing left. And back to center. And then with your knees into your chest, take one last breath here. And then release into Shavasana, however you prefer to take Shavasana. Set yourself up, though, in a way in which the legs can relax just a bit, the hips can relax just a little bit, and then you can settle. No more need to control the breath or regulate it in any way. Stay soft where you can. As always, I'll leave you here to rest as long as you need. Just when you finish up, do take your time. To ourselves and each other, to the practice, to the teachings, and to the yoga tradition. Thank you for practicing with me today.